Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time we're going way out to the asteroid belt. But this is no ordinary space rock.
Definitely not.
We're going to be breaking down NASA's Psyche mission. It's a journey to a world made, well, entirely of metal.
It is.
But hold on, there's more. We're also going to talk about how this mission is testing out some seriously cool laser communication technology. And guess what?
What?
This tech could totally change the way we connect with each other right here on Earth.
You know, it really shows how space exploration, it isn't just about, pushing boundaries out there in space. It's also about coming up with technology, like you were saying, that can have a real impact back here at home.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is 16 Psyche? Why is NASA so interested in it?
Well, you see, 16 Psyche is special. Unlike most asteroids, which are made up of rock or ice, this one we think is mostly iron and nickel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, imagine a giant metallic world just orbiting the sun, and scientists think it might actually be like the exposed core of a protoplanet.
So like a planet that never quite formed.
Exactly.
So we're basically looking back in time to the very beginning of our solar system. That's incredible. But Psyche is a long way away. How do we even get there?
Well, the Psyche spacecraft launched just last month, and the plan is to arrive at the asteroid, get this, August 2029.
Wow.
Yeah, and how it's getting there is super interesting. It uses something called solar electric propulsion, a really efficient system. It's the first time it's being used for an interplanetary mission.
That's incredible. I actually read a little bit about that. It uses something called Hall effect thrusters, right?
Yeah, exactly. So instead of like a traditional, gas-guzzling engine, it's more like an electric car for space.
Right.
These thrusters, they use electric and magnetic fields to propel the spacecraft forward, which means it can travel way further on the same amount of fuel.
So it's super efficient. Perfect for a long trip like this.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the science. What exactly are we hoping to learn from 16 Psyche?
Well, there are three main things, three objectives for this mission. First, we really want to study the composition of Psyche, get a closer look at to understand more about planetary cores.
Right.
This could give us some clues about how the Earth and other terrestrial planets were formed.
So it's like sending a probe deep into the heart of a planet, except we don't have to dig through miles of rock and magma, right?
Yeah, exactly. The second thing, we want to examine the surface, Psyche's surface, and look for any clues about its history.
Okay.
Has it been hit with impacts, volcanic eruptions, other processes, the surface features? They kind of tell a story, the story of its evolution.
Oh, I bet there's some incredible stories etched onto that metallic surface. What's the third piece, the final piece of the puzzle?
We want to investigate the conditions under which Psyche formed. So was it in a more oxygen-rich environment?
Yeah.
Or more oxygen-poor compared to the Earth's core? This will help us understand the conditions, all the diverse conditions that existed in the early solar system. Understand how planets like ours came to be.
It's like Psyche is this, like time capsule from the early solar system, holding all these secrets about planetary formation that we've never had access to before.
That's a great way to put it. It's truly a unique opportunity to look back billions of years and try to unravel those mysteries of our, cosmic origins.
Okay, so this is already fascinating, but there's another layer to this mission that I'm really curious about. Tell us more about DSOC. That's the Deep Space Optical Communications system, right?
Ah, yes. DSOC, it really is a game changer.
Okay.
This tech uses lasers to talk to Earth. And just recently, they hit a major milestone, a record-breaking transmission.
Yeah, I read about that. Over 310 million miles. That's farther than the distance between the Earth and the Sun. So we're talking about lasers beaming messages across the solar system.
That's right. The Psyche spacecraft has this special laser transceiver on board. And here on Earth, we have these ground stations, and they're equipped to receive these laser signals. It takes incredible precision to hit these targets from such a distance, so far away.
It's mind-boggling. So why lasers? What's the big advantage over traditional radio waves, the ones we've always used for space communication?
The biggest advantage is speed. Lasers can transmit data up to 100 times faster than radio frequencies. Imagine being able to download a whole scientific data set from Mars in minutes rather than, hours.
Right.
That's the kind of leap we're talking about.
That would completely revolutionize space exploration. We could get high-definition images and video from deep space,
Yeah.
almost in real time.
Exactly. And it's not just about speed either. Laser communication is also way more efficient. It uses less power and bandwidth, which is, super important for these long duration missions.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is such a big deal, not just for the Psyche mission, but for the future of space exploration as a whole.
It really is. And here's what's even more exciting. This tech, it's not limited to just talking to spacecraft. It can also transform communication right here on Earth.
Wait, so you're telling me these lasers beaming messages across the solar system could change the way we connect here at home?
Absolutely. DSOC, it's a glimpse into this future of, supercharged communication, and we'll talk all about that, in just a bit.
This laser communication technology, it really does sound like it could be as revolutionary as, the internet itself. It's incredible to think that something being tested millions of miles away on a mission to a metal asteroid could change so much about our lives here on Earth.
It really does highlight the interconnectedness of science and technology. Like, discoveries in one area, they can often lead to breakthroughs in others. And space exploration, it's always been this catalyst for innovation, for pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
You mentioned earlier that one of the most exciting possibilities is the impact that laser communication could have on global communication networks. Can you kind of paint a picture for us? What might that look like?
Yeah, imagine a world where internet access, it's no longer limited by where you are, geography, or infrastructure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With laser communication, even the most remote places, communities, could have high-speed internet, that super reliable internet we were talking about. It could bridge the digital divide in a way we haven't seen before, open up all these opportunities.
So we're not just talking about faster download speeds for people who already have good internet. It's really about making sure everyone has access to information and resources, no matter where they live.
Exactly. It's about leveling the playing field. And just think about what that could mean for education, for example. Students in rural areas or developing countries, they could participate in these live interactive online classes. They could have these incredible educators from all around the world getting a quality education. And it wouldn't matter where they are.
Breaking down all these educational barriers, it's really incredible to think about. Everyone having the chance to, reach their full potential, no matter where they live.
Absolutely. And this goes beyond just education. Think about healthcare, telemedicine. It could actually become a reality for everyone, even the most isolated communities. Imagine patients could talk to specialists, get diagnoses, even access treatments, all those things that might not have been available to them before.
Improving healthcare outcomes, saving lives. It's really inspiring.
Yeah. And, even economic development. Think about businesses in remote areas. They could connect with customers and suppliers globally, be part of that digital economy, and really contribute to economic growth in a way they never could before.
So it's really a completely new way of thinking about communication and access to information.
Right. It's exciting to imagine all the positive changes all over the world. It really shows how space exploration isn't just about, scientific discoveries. It's about making life better for everyone.
It really is. But I know with any new technology, there are going to be challenges. What are some of the concerns that come to mind when you think about laser communication, becoming something we all use?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is making sure everyone has access. I know we talked about that, but it's really important. While the benefits are huge, we got to be realistic. There are costs to building this kind of infrastructure. We have to make sure that everyone benefits, not just the people who can afford it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We've got to close the gap, not make it bigger. What about data privacy? Is that a concern with this technology?
Yeah, that's another big one. With all this data flying around at super speeds, we need to make sure it's protected. We don't want hackers getting their hands on it or people using it for the wrong reasons.
So cybersecurity is a big deal here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And what about people's privacy, right? We got to make sure that people's personal information is safe, that they're not being tracked or monitored without knowing about it. It's a balancing act,
It is. We need to be smart about how we use this technology.
Definitely. And I think that's where the conversation gets really interesting, right? It's not just about the technical stuff. It's about understanding how this tech will affect society, the economy, all those things.
It makes you think. How will it change the way we connect with each other, the way we work?
Yeah.
Our understanding of the world. It's a lot to consider.
It is. And, speaking of understanding the world, we were talking about how laser communication could totally change Earth observation.
Right.
Can you imagine what that would be like?
Yeah, tell us more. How could it actually benefit humanity?
Well, right now, our understanding of Earth, it's kind of limited by how fast we can get information from space, you know? But imagine, what if we could download high-resolution images, all that data from those Earth-observing satellites in real time?
Wow. It would be like having this live stream of what's happening on our planet.
Yeah.
How would we use that?
Oh, man, so many ways. For one, we could get way better at responding to natural disasters. Like, imagine tracking hurricanes or wildfires, in real time. We could make much better predictions, know exactly where to send help, and even evacuate people before it's too late.
Wow, that could save so many lives.
Absolutely. And beyond disasters, we could use it to manage our resources better, track deforestation, monitor the oceans, all those things. We'd have this much clearer picture of how climate change is affecting the planet.
It would be like a real-time checkup for Earth.
Exactly. And, it's not just about reacting to problems. We could use this data to make better decisions about the future, like how we build our cities, how we use energy, how we protect the environment.
It's like we'd have more control over our planet's future.
Yeah.
And this technology, it's not just limited to Earth, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that it could also be used for space exploration, for those robotic missions we hear so much about.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Imagine sending swarms of robots to explore Mars, right?
Okay.
And they could all talk to each other and back to Earth in real time using lasers.
That's straight out of a science fiction movie. What would they do?
Well, they could collect samples, run experiments, maybe even build structures. They could prepare the way for humans to eventually go there. And with laser communication, we could control them way better. Like, it would be almost as if we were right there with them, exploring another planet.
That's incredible. It really feels like we're on the edge of something huge with space exploration.
It is an exciting time, isn't it? And it's not just about what we might find out there. It's about the technology that will come from it, the things that will help us here on Earth.
Speaking of that, let's go back to those self-driving cars we talked about earlier. You mentioned laser communication could be a game changer for them, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. This tech, it could revolutionize the way those self-driving cars, how they drive, how they talk to each other, how they understand the world around them. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Can you explain that a little bit more? Like, how would it make them safer and more efficient?
Imagine all these cars constantly talking to each other, sharing information like their speed, their location, where they're going. They could avoid accidents before they even happen, much better than just using sensors.
So they're not just reacting to what's happening right now, they're actually anticipating what might happen in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And with laser communication, it happens instantly. There's no delay like you might have with other wireless systems.
So speed is key, especially when, fractions of a second can make a difference between a safe stop and an accident.
For sure. And it's not just about safety. Imagine how much better traffic would flow. All those cars coordinating their movements, no more traffic jams. It would make our cities much better places to live.
Wow. So we're talking about a future where cars are not just safer, they're smarter and more efficient.
Whoa, it's pretty cool to think about. But of course, nothing is perfect. There are some challenges we got to figure out before this becomes a reality.
Like what? What are some of the hurdles?
Well, one thing is we need to make sure that all these self-driving cars can talk to each other no matter who made them.
Okay.
So, we need a common language for them to use. And we got to make sure that communication is secure. We don't want any hackers messing things up, right?
Right. No digital traffic jams.
Exactly. And then there's the privacy issue again. People need to know that their information is safe, that they're not being tracked without their permission.
It's a lot to balance, the technology itself, and then all these ethical questions.
Yeah, you got it. But it's important stuff. We got to figure it out if we want this tech to really benefit everyone.
Absolutely. So, to sum things up, laser communication has the potential to change a lot of industries and aspects of our lives.
It really does, and I think it shows how important scientific discovery is. It leads to all these breakthroughs, things that can make life better for everyone.
But we have to be smart about it, right? We got to make sure it's used for good and that it doesn't create new problems along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about the technology, it's about how we use it. And that's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
Exactly.
And you know what? I think that's a great way to lead into our last segment, where we can really dive into what all this means for people, how laser communication could change their lives in the years to come.
We're back. And, throughout this whole deep dive, we've been talking about the Psyche mission. and this mind-blowing laser communication technology, it really seems like it could change everything.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to think about, right? A mission to a metal world, millions of miles away, leading to these huge changes here on Earth.
It is. But, I think it's time we brought things back down to earth a bit. Like, what does all this mean for the average person? How will laser communication actually change their lives?
That's a great question. I think one of the most noticeable changes will be, how we use the internet. Imagine like super fast, super reliable internet everywhere. No more waiting for things to load.
Oh, I can get behind that. No more buffering,
Yeah.
ever. Download a movie in seconds. Sign me up.
Right. Think about how much easier working from home would be. No more frozen video calls or waiting forever to share files.
That would be amazing. And I bet it would be a game changer for entertainment, too. Like, imagine streaming, ultra high definition movies without any lag at all. And online gaming, forget about it. It would be a whole new experience.
Totally. But it's not just about having fun. Think about education, for example. Students could access any online resource, no matter where they live. They could have these incredible interactive classes, learn from the best teachers in the world virtually.
It would open up so many opportunities for people. And what about healthcare? I bet that would be revolutionized, too.
Oh, absolutely. Telemedicine could become the norm. Imagine people in rural areas or places without easy access to doctors. They could have virtual appointments with specialists, get diagnoses, even treatment, all online. It would make such a difference.
It's incredible to think about how many lives could be improved with this technology. And, you mentioned before how laser communication could change the way our devices work, like the whole Internet of Things.
Yeah, for sure. Imagine everything connected seamlessly, all your devices talking to each other instantly, your fridge ordering groceries before you run out, your lights adjusting automatically. It would make life so much easier.
So we're talking about a world where technology just works effortlessly. It blends into the background of our lives and makes things better.
Exactly. And I think that's what's really exciting about laser communication. It's not just one thing. It's the foundation for a whole new era of technology.
It is pretty exciting. But, we have to be realistic, too. There are going to be challenges along the way. We've talked about some of them already, like making sure everyone has access and keeping our data safe.
Yeah, you're right. We got to be careful and make sure this technology is used for good. We need to have those tough conversations, about privacy, about security, about making sure everyone benefits.
Absolutely. It's not just about the science. It's about the people. We have to make sure this technology makes the world a better place for everyone.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive. We've learned so much about the Psyche mission, this journey to a metal world, and how this incredible laser communication technology could change, well, just about everything.
It's really inspiring to think about, right? It just shows how important exploration and innovation are and how they can lead to these incredible breakthroughs that benefit all of humanity.
So, to all our listeners out there, keep looking up at the stars, stay curious, and, don't be afraid to ask those tough questions. The future is out there, and it's up to all of us to shape it.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.